Hi guys, Harry Yotis here, professional trader for 20 years. Started my career in 2005, and for the past 10 years I've been trading my own account. So, big news on Monday, as we speculated over the weekend if you were tuning into my Twitter, that we were expecting maybe a silver smash to come on Monday. Okay, and as you can see from silver, smash. We'll talk about that later. Coming up, let's look at the S&P 500. This was today, Monday, the 29th of December. Yes, the market is slightly down like 0.36%. Who cares? Still in a bullish trend. We're looking at the technical analysis. Always, we look at it first. This is still a bullish picture. If we bring in the moving averages, we're still above the 50. Series of higher lows, higher highs. We broke to new highs. This is just a normal move. Okay, nothing to really worry about. We're going into the end, the last 3 days of the month, on a very thin holiday schedule. So you're gonna have a lot of choppiness around. Nothing really can move the market. I mean, somebody comes in, he can move it a lot, but somebody else comes in the other way and moves it up a lot too. So it's very, very thin. You can't really say anything about the holiday schedule. But I expect it to be bullish going into the end of the year and in the beginning of the new year in January. Okay, so technical picture, bullish still. Let's get into the sentiment. We always paired with sentiment. And now we're in neutral. That's it, as expected. All the sub indices, neutral. A little bit of greed here on the strength. Stock price breadth is coming up to neutral. But we still have extreme fear on the put and call options. People are still buying puts. I guess because they're super cheap, the VIX is low, but that doesn't really change things much. We're still in the neutral, and I expect to get to greed and extreme greed going forward, because we were touching the border of greed, and we went into greed for like 1 day, and then boom, back down to neutral. So this is why, given these two factors, bullish technicals, fundamentals are still good. There's nothing wrong with the S&P 500 as long as we keep limping across the finish line, as long as we have GDP growth of at least 2-3% a year, which we have, and as long as jobs still hold between, let's say, 0 to 100,000 a month, the economy is growing. It's limping along. We might not see extreme moves to the upside on the S&P 500 going forward, but we could get a 5% a year. The year could be up 5%. It's just as long as the economy holds up, initial claims are good, we are still bullish. Okay, so let's get to the big news. Silver smash. Okay, so silver, we love the metals. Okay, on Friday, big move. This was parabolic. There's a lot of big players caught short. I mean, you can read it everywhere that the bullion banks are short. They can't cover. We've seen before here on the Shanghai silver price in dollars. We saw that today. The Shanghai silver price is at 83. You can't see it here. It's at 83.44, and in the West, in COMEX, it's 75.56, or the LBMA. I'm not sure which Western price they're referencing here, but we have a spread of $8. Still, the spread is still there. Okay, so what I want to say with this smash is that yes, the price is down 9%, but the fundamentals haven't changed. The fundamentals are still there, still bullish. There's still a short-term supply crunch because China, because of the differential that we saw here, an $8 spread means there's a lot of demand for physical in China. Okay, so you're gonna have some kind of downward move here as expected, maybe to alleviate. People can call it manipulation. I really don't care. It's not really manipulation, especially since this to me is pretty muted. Look, we were at overbought in terms of the RSI, and now we're back to barely into the safe zone. Okay, so all this does is just alleviate the short-term technical overbought conditions. Okay, this circle is drawn here because I expected the silver price, to be smashed down to like $62.50 to $65 US an ounce. Okay, and that would be a nice dip before going higher. Okay, and this would alleviate a lot of the overbought conditions, but it doesn't have to. It could just stick around these levels for 2-3 days before ripping higher, because that will clearly bring it down even more, maybe till the RSI can get to the 50, 60 level, and then plenty of room to go higher. So, like, my point is, by drawing this circle at 62.5 and 65, is that even at this level, it's still a bullish chart, and the fundamentals haven't changed. So technicals still bullish, okay? Fundamentals are still bullish. This one-day drop is not going to alleviate the short covering. It's not going to alleviate the supply crunch. And a bonus to this silver trade is that here, China 2026 silver export controls, implications for global supply chains and strategic metals. Okay, this article, let's get rid of this thing here. I don't know why these are popping up. Ads, who cares? Okay, the China's 2026 silver export controls. China's 2026 silver export controls will restrict 60 to 70% of global supply via licensing criteria, excluding small, mid-sized firms. This means that China is going to try to keep silver within its borders, okay, starting in January, literally. What is it, 3 days, 4 days? So coming up by Friday, these controls go into effect. So I don't see this, and if you read further, you can see that it just mirrors the rare earth tactics. I'm just saying that this is a global resource war. We've been saying this forever, and these restrictions, going forward, this is not going to really matter. Okay, this adds fuel to the people who need to buy, because who cares about paper silver? Okay, the paper silver market got crashed, but as long as you need the physical supply, you don't care about the price. You are a price taker, and you will take any price that's in the market, whether it's triple digits or not. So, to me, the fundamentals are still there. The supply crunch is still there. You have China restricting supply come January. I don't see this silver smash as a negative. It actually, technically, we have the fundamentals in place, and now we're going to have the technicals also in place because, like we said, it alleviates these overbought conditions. So, it didn't go as low as I would have liked. Maybe it gets there. I don't know. It doesn't seem likely at this point because even as we speak here, a lot of the silver juniors that I follow, the silver junior stocks that I follow, were up. Okay, I'll give you one. Santa Cruz Silver. Okay, it's up today. It's trading near highs. Okay, this is Monday. It's up literally 4%. Okay, others that I have are flat to barely down. Okay, with the silver price down 5%, 9%, a lot of the silver stocks, even the majors, are down just 5%. Look at Hecla. Okay, look at it. The chart is still super bullish. It's basically down 4.95%. Usually the silver stocks get, if the silver price goes down 2% or 1%, these stocks will go down 3%. Okay, so the majors are not buying this. Let's see, Kerr Mining. Look at CDE. Nothing. It's down 4.5%, 5%. So it's very, very muted. Okay, the response based on this silver price was, I think, sort of like a last-ditch effort to support the big short players that are cut short in this game. We don't know who it is. We will eventually find out what this move is all about in the papers coming up. Okay, we will not know until later on. But you can clearly see that this move is very muted, and in the mining stocks, you don't see any of this quote-unquote panic in the market, okay? Panic in terms of I see panic from the shorts, but I don't see panic from the longs. This isn't panic selling, okay? So, again, still bullish on silver. That is my conclusion of this smash down lower. I'm not worried at all. In fact, today I was up money in my account, despite the fact that silver and gold was down. Look at gold, down 4.4%. That's a big move across all the metals. Okay, copper, same thing, big down. I just don't see this. Look at copper, inching with all-time highs in the smash here. They're just trying to keep it lower. I just don't think they can, because the technicals never dominate the fundamentals. The fundamentals always dominate. This chart was drawn because of fundamentals. Fundamentally, somebody is going bankrupt, taking a hit, short the metal, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so that is my conclusion on the silver trade. Still bullish, loving the trade, going forward. Okay, so I thought I'd take the last portion of today and talk about some of our trades. We've been talking about going along a couple of our big AI stocks like Microsoft. Okay, so let's look at Microsoft. Microsoft, we got long here, sold it here, and we got long again, and we're still holding. And by the way, we're getting long via selling short puts. Okay, and the time decay is on our favor. We're almost going to get a profit take on Microsoft coming up. Okay, we also had it on Tesla. We shorted it. Even as this is why when Tesla was around here, we shorted it, a deep out of the money put spread, and we got out of it today in the morning when it was down here, and we realized about 75% of the total profit that we could realize. Okay, so we hit that single. It took about, what is it? We entered it here, maybe a couple of weeks, 15, I'd say 10 days, 11 days, something like that, 2 weeks, let's say. And we're out of it, and we realized the 75% of the total profit that we can possibly realize on shorting these puts. Okay, so Tesla, we're out of that. We're still holding the Microsoft, as we said, and we expect to get out of that very soon because we shorted, what would you call it? Shorter dated puts, which means the decay is going to be very, very fast. So that's why we're realizing a profits very, very fast. Okay. The other one that we re-entered was CrowdStrike. As long as it's staying around these levels, deep out of the money here, put spread 420, 400 to be specific. We are going to realize, we've already realized 50%, but I'm just getting greedy because I think the time decay in the next 2, 3, 4 days will be large. And I am bullish going into the end of the year and the beginning of January for this whole week. So if I'm bullish, I expect the time decay to go even lower. So I'll be getting out of the CrowdStrike, and then we'll be left with only our Microsoft, which we probably will get out tomorrow. So I suspect the Microsoft and the CrowdStrike trades will be gone within the next couple of days, and then we'll be looking to reload if the market ends up going lower. Okay, so far all of our singles trades in 3 of the stocks have been profitable. So that's it, guys. Let's recap. SPY, bullish on a shortened holiday type of thin trading day. I expect the whole week to be like that. Silver smash, still bullish. Sentiment neutral, so I'm still bullish on the S&P 500. Silver smash, as we said before, this is very muted. It looks to me like a desperate attempt to try to sell it, or maybe profit taking, whatever. It's just not large enough for me to get worried at all, especially since we know that a lot of our silver juniors and majors are barely down. Okay, so still bullish the silver trade. The fundamentals haven't changed. And we took profits on our Tesla single. Even though it went down, the decay overwhelmed the drop in price because the put spread is so out of the money that the profit was more than likely to be realized. We just took it off the table because who cares about the other 25%? We can roll it forward. If Tesla continues to go lower, I'll reload. Okay, but so far out of Tesla, still holding the Microsoft. Expect to get out of Microsoft very soon, and our CrowdStrike that we re-entered. This is good, by the way. This sideways pattern for 5 days destroys premium, thus making our put spread even more profitable on a day-to-day basis. Okay, so that's it, guys. If you liked what you heard, like and subscribe, but of course leave a comment in the bottom and I will get to it as soon as possible. I suspect the coming week will be muted and we'll be going into the new year on a positive note. Bye, guys.